You want change, real change? Then listen up. Most people talk about success. They dream about it, they post about it, but they never do what it actually takes to get there. They're too distracted, too caught up in what everyone else is doing, checking their phone every 5 minutes, scrolling through nonsense, waiting for some miracle to drop into their lap. But here's the truth. Success doesn't come to those who wait. When it comes to those who work, and I mean really work, obsessively, relentlessly, without the need for applause or validation. You want to transform your life? Then I dare you to disappear for a year, to go all in, to shut out the noise, cut the excuses, and lock in on your vision like your life depends on it. Because guess what? It does. Discipline is the price of freedom. And most people won't pay it. They won't sacrifice comfort. They won't endure the solitude. They won't put in the long hours when nobody's watching. But that's exactly why most people stay stuck. You don't need more motivation. You need momentum. And momentum comes from action, from getting up every single day and doing the hard things even when you don't feel like it. People will call you crazy. They'll say you're obsessed. They'll wonder why you don't show up to every party, why you're not posting about every little thing you do. Let them wonder, let them talk. While they waste time, you build. While they chase approval, you create results. Because a year from now, when you walk back into the world, you won't just be different, you'll be unrecognizable. In a world that thrives on noise, the ability to eliminate distractions is one of the most powerful skills you can develop. Everywhere you look, there's something demanding your attention. Notifications buzzing, messages piling up, social media feeds endlessly refreshing, tempting you to scroll just a little bit longer. It's designed to keep you engaged, to keep you distracted, to keep you from doing the very things that would change your life. Most people don't even realize they're caught in the trap. They wake up, grab their phones before they even get out of bed, and instantly flood their minds with information that has nothing to do with their goals. Distraction isn't just about social media, it's about the unnecessary conversations, the mindless entertainment, the hours wasted on things that bring no real value. Every minute spent watching someone else live their life is a minute stolen from building your own. And that's the harsh truth most people don't want to face. They convince themselves that staying updated is important, that responding to every message is necessary, that watching a little TV or playing a few games is just harmless relaxation. But over time, those moments add up, turning into hours, days, months, and eventually years of wasted potential. The people who truly win in life are the ones who take control of their focus. They understand that their time and energy are limited resources, and they refuse to waste them on things that don't serve their vision. It's not that they have more discipline than you, it's that they've removed the things that require discipline in the first place. They've set their environment up in a way that forces them to stay locked in. Imagine waking up every day with a clear mission, no distractions, no wasted time, just pure focus. Imagine sitting down to work without the constant urge to check your phone, without the background noise of other people's opinions and problems filling your mind. That kind of focus is rare because it takes effort to create. It means making hard choices, setting boundaries, and learning to be okay with missing out on things that don't matter. Most people fear solitude. They fear stepping away from the crowd, afraid they'll miss something important, afraid they'll be forgotten, afraid they'll lose touch. But the only thing they truly lose is time. Time they could have spent getting ahead, developing skills, building something real. The ones who succeed are the ones who understand that true progress happens when you step away from the distractions, when you commit to a period of intense focus, when you create an environment that forces you to grow. It starts with identifying the biggest distractions in your life. What are the things pulling your attention away from your goals? Who are the people filling your time with pointless conversations? What habits are keeping you stuck? It takes brutal honesty to admit that much of what you do daily is nothing more than a way to avoid doing the real work. But once you acknowledge it, you can start making changes. The first step is cutting out the unnecessary noise. That might mean deleting certain apps from your phone, turning off notifications, setting strict limits on your screen time. It might mean waking up earlier before the world starts pulling at you. It might mean saying no to invitations, no to distractions disguised as obligations, no to anything that doesn't align with your bigger vision. Most people will resist this. They'll tell you it's too extreme, that balance is important, that you don't need to be so disciplined, but look at where they are. Are they living the life you want? Are they achieving the things you dream about? If not, why would you listen to them? The truth is, most people don't have the results they want because they're too distracted to ever put in the deep, focused work necessary to achieve them. When you remove distractions, something incredible happens. Your mind clears, your energy shifts, you start to see opportunities you never noticed before, you start to make progress at a pace that feels almost unreal. The reason so many people feel stuck is because they're constantly switching between tasks, never giving themselves the chance to go deep on any one thing. But when you eliminate the noise, when you create an environment where focus becomes your default state, you tap into a level of productivity that most people never experience. It's not easy at first. The urge to check your phone, to scroll, to seek out entertainment, it's strong. That's because your brain has been conditioned to crave stimulation, to seek instant gratification. But the more you resist, the more you take control, the easier it gets. Over time, you start to enjoy the silence, you start to crave the focus, you start to realize that every moment spent on something meaningless is a moment stolen from your future success. The world will always be there, trying to pull you back in, trying to distract you, trying to make you feel like you're missing out. But once you experience what true focus feels like, once you see the results that come from eliminating distractions, you'll never want to go back. Discipline is the foundation of every success story. It is the invisible force that separates those who achieve their goals from those who only dream about them. Most people wait for motivation to strike before they take action, believing that one day they will wake up and feel ready to chase their ambitions, but that day never comes. Motivation is fleeting, unreliable, and based on emotions that change from moment to moment. Discipline, on the other hand, is a commitment, a decision to show up and do the work regardless of how you feel. The greatest achievers in the world understand that success is not built on moments of inspiration, but on consistent effort, even when the excitement fades. They do not rely on feelings to determine their actions. They do what needs to be done whether they feel like it or not. They wake up early when their body tells them to stay in bed. They go to the gym when their mind makes excuses. They work on their craft when distractions tempt them to take a break. This is the difference between winners and everyone else. Most people underestimate the power of small, daily actions repeated over time. They believe that success comes from one big break, one lucky opportunity, one moment of genius. But in reality, it comes from doing the boring, difficult, and repetitive work every single day. It is waking up before the sun rises to train, study, or build. It is making the tough choices that others avoid. It is choosing to push forward when everything inside screams for comfort. Discipline is built through practice. It is not something you are born with or something that only a select few have. It is a skill that is developed by making the right choices over and over again until they become second nature. The first time you resist an urge, it feels uncomfortable. The second time, it is still difficult. But the more you do it, the easier it becomes. Your mind and body adapt, and what once felt like an impossible sacrifice becomes your new normal. People often make the mistake of setting massive goals without creating the discipline to support them. They want to lose weight but do not commit to daily exercise. They want financial freedom but do not discipline themselves to save and invest. They want to master a skill but do not show up consistently to practice. Desire alone is not enough. If you lack discipline, your dreams will always remain just that, dreams. Excuses are the enemy of discipline. The mind is incredibly skilled at finding reasons to avoid discomfort. I'm too tired, I don't have time, I'll do it tomorrow. These justifications feel real in the moment, but they are nothing more than lies designed to keep you in your comfort zone. And every time you listen to them, you reinforce the habit of giving up. Discipline means shutting down those excuses before they take hold. It means acting in spite of resistance, making decisions based on commitment rather than convenience. Your environment plays a massive role in your level of discipline. If you surround yourself with people who accept mediocrity, you will adopt the same mindset. If your environment is filled with distractions, you will struggle to stay focused. Discipline is not just about willpower, it is about setting yourself up for success, removing temptations, creating routines, and immersing yourself in a space that pushes you forward. It is about making discipline the default choice, not the difficult one. There will be moments when discipline feels like an uphill battle, when progress is slow, when results do not come fast enough, when doubts start creeping in. This is where most people give up. They expect immediate rewards, and when they do not see them, they lose faith. But discipline is about trusting the process, understanding that every small action adds up, even when it is not immediately visible. It is about developing the patience to keep going, knowing that the rewards will come not when you want them, but when you have truly earned them. The most successful people in the world are not the most talented. They are not the smartest, the strongest, or the luckiest. They are simply the ones who refuse to quit. The ones who wake up every day and do what needs to be done no matter what. They understand that greatness is not a result of what you do once in a while, but what you do consistently over time when no one is watching. Most people crave recognition. They want to be seen, acknowledged, and praised for their efforts. They post their every move on social media, hoping for validation, hoping someone will notice their grind. But real success is built in silence. The ones who truly make it are not the ones constantly talking about their plans. They are the ones executing in the dark, away from the spotlight, working relentlessly while the rest of the world is watching, scrolling, and waiting. There is power in moving quietly. When you stop announcing your every step, you remove the pressure of expectations. You are no longer seeking approval, no longer looking over your shoulder to see who's paying attention. You are free to focus, to make mistakes, to grow without the fear of judgment. The loudest people in the room are often the ones doing the least. They talk big, they boast, they hype up their goals, but when it comes down to putting in the work, they fall short. Meanwhile, the real winners are in the background grinding with no need for applause. Working in silence also protects you from negativity. The moment you share your plans, you open the door for doubt, criticism, and opinions that can shake your confidence. People will project their fears onto you. They will tell you your goals are unrealistic, that you are wasting your time, that you should play it safe. If you listen, even for a second, that negativity can plant seeds of doubt in your mind. But when you keep your work private, when you move without announcing, you give yourself the space to build without interference. Discipline becomes stronger when you are not performing for an audience. When no one is watching, there is no external motivation, no likes, no validation to push you forward. This is where true character is built. Will you still show up when there is no instant reward? Will you still put in the hours when there is no one cheering you on? This is the test that separates those who are serious from those who just want attention. Success does not happen overnight, and the road is long. If you constantly seek recognition, you will burn out before you even get there. Every second spent proving yourself to others is a second taken away from actual progress. The time you spend crafting the perfect post about your grind could have been spent grinding. The energy you waste trying to convince people of your potential could have been used to fulfill it. When the results finally speak for themselves, they will be undeniable. There will be no need to explain, no need to justify, no need to seek approval. The world will see the transformation, but by then you will no longer care about their value. Because the real reward is not in the recognition, it is in the journey, in the late nights, in the sacrifices, in the moments of doubt that you pushed through alone. Mastery is not an accident. It does not happen by chance, and it is never the result of half-hearted effort. The people who dominate their fields, who rise above the competition, who achieve things others only dream about, they do not get there by dabbling. They get there by obsessively refining their craft, by putting in thousands of unseen hours, by committing to a level of improvement that most people are unwilling to endure. Excellence is built in the repetition, in the relentless pursuit of better, in the willingness to do the work long after the excitement has worn off. Most people want to be great, but they are not willing to put in the work that greatness requires. They want the results, but they avoid the process. They look for shortcuts, hacks, and quick wins, hoping to bypass the years of struggle and discipline that mastery demands. But there are no shortcuts. There is no substitute for deep, focused work. Every skill, every profession, every craft has its own version of the grind, the long, difficult, often frustrating road that must be walked before true competence is achieved. Those who succeed are the ones who embrace that process rather than trying to escape it. The difference between amateurs and masters is not talent, it is consistency. The amateur practices when it is convenient. The master practices daily regardless of how they feel. The amateur seeks comfort, the master seeks growth. The amateur wants fast progress. The master is willing to improve by just 1% each day, knowing that over time, that effort will compound into something extraordinary. The mindset of mastery is about delayed gratification, about doing the work now so that the rewards can come later. Deep work is the key to leveling up. In a world full of distractions where attention is constantly being pulled in 100 different directions, the ability to focus deeply on a single task for extended periods is rare and valuable. The best in the world are not the ones who work the most hours, they are the ones who get the most out of the hours they work. They train themselves to enter a state of flow where their mind is fully engaged, where time seems to disappear, where progress happens at an accelerated rate. This kind of focus does not come naturally. It must be trained, developed, and protected from the endless distractions that threaten to break it. Repetition is the foundation of mastery. Doing the same thing over and over again, refining the smallest details, improving in ways that are almost invisible to the outside world, this is what separates the best from the rest. Most people get bored with repetition. They want variety, entertainment, something new. But the masters understand that progress is hidden in the details, that true improvement happens when you refine a skill beyond what is obvious. The best athletes, musicians, writers, and entrepreneurs are the ones who find joy in the process of refining the fundamentals over and over again. Sacrifice is required. Mastery demands that you prioritize your craft over comfort, over entertainment, over the distractions that pull others away. It requires long nights, early mornings, and the willingness to miss out on the things that do not serve your mission. There will be moments of doubt, frustration, and exhaustion. The process will test your patience. It will challenge your commitment. This is why so few people ever reach the top, because most are not willing to endure the discomfort that mastery requires. The only way to truly level up is to immerse yourself in the process. Study those who have done it before. Reverse engineer their habits, their routines, their work ethic. Surround yourself with people who push you, who demand excellence, who refuse to let you settle for average. Seek out challenges that force you to grow. Push beyond your comfort zone daily. Accept that frustration is part of the journey and that every setback is an opportunity to improve. Mastery is a lifelong pursuit. There is no final destination, no moment where you can declare yourself finished. The best in the world are always learning, always refining, always searching for ways to improve. They understand that complacency is the enemy, that the moment they stop pushing forward, they start falling behind. The mindset of mastery is not about reaching a goal and stopping. It is about continuous evolution, about always striving for the next level, about becoming the best version of yourself through relentless dedication to your craft. Solitude is a test that most people fail. The idea of being alone, away from distractions, away from constant social validation is terrifying to them. They've spent their entire lives surrounded by noise, by conversations that add nothing to their growth, by relationships that drain them more than they empower them. The moment they are left alone with their own thoughts, they feel restless, uncomfortable, desperate for an escape. But solitude is not isolation. It is not loneliness. It is the foundation of self-mastery, the space where true transformation happens, the environment where the most powerful individuals in history have built themselves. Most people will never know who they truly are because they have never spent enough time alone to find out. They are defined by their environment, shaped by the opinions of others, moving through life reacting instead of acting with intention. They follow the crowd because it is easier than thinking for themselves. They seek company because it is easier than facing their own doubts, insecurities, and fears. But those who dare to step away, to embrace the quiet, to spend time in deep self-reflection, those are the ones who become something more. When you remove yourself from constant stimulation, something incredible happens. Your mind clears, your focus sharpens. The things that once seemed urgent suddenly feel insignificant. The drama, the opinions, the endless distractions, they lose their grip on you. You begin to see what truly matters. You begin to hear your own voice, not the voice of society, not the voice of your peers, not the voice of doubt that has been implanted in you by others. You start to recognize what you really want, not what you have been conditioned to believe you should want. The greatest breakthroughs happen in solitude. It is in the moments of silence, of deep thinking, of undisturbed focus that ideas are born, that solutions are found, that clarity emerges. The most successful individuals understand this. They seek solitude not as an escape from the world, but as a way to master it. They create space in their lives to think, to strategize, to reflect. They do not fear being alone with their thoughts because they have trained their minds to be their greatest weapon, not their greatest enemy. Enduring solitude is a challenge because it forces you to confront yourself. It exposes your weaknesses, your fears, your insecurities. It leaves no room for distractions to numb the discomfort. Most people run from this. They drown themselves in entertainment, in social media, in constant activity, just to avoid facing the reality of their own lives. But those who can sit in solitude, who can embrace the discomfort, who can work through it instead of escaping it, those are the ones who come out stronger, more self-aware, more in control of their destiny. When you spend time alone, you become independent in ways most people never will. You stop seeking validation, you stop needing permission, you stop being influenced by the fear of judgment, you learn to trust yourself, to rely on your own instincts, to make decisions without hesitation. You become the kind of person who moves with certainty, who does not need approval to take action, who does not waste time explaining themselves to those who will never understand. There is a reason why the most successful people withdraw from the world at certain points in their journey. They disappear, they go silent, they remove themselves from distractions and focus entirely on their craft, their mission, their vision. They understand that solitude is a necessary phase of transformation. You cannot evolve while constantly being pulled in 1,000 directions. You cannot level up while being distracted by meaningless conversations and shallow interactions. There comes a point where you must make a choice to stay where you are, comfortable and surrounded by noise, or to step away and endure the silence that leads to growth. The process is not easy. There will be moments when doubt creeps in, when loneliness feels unbearable, when you question whether it is worth it. But these are the moments that define you. These are the tests that separate those who break from those who build themselves into something unshakable. Most people will never make it through this stage because they are too attached to their old life, too afraid of the unknown, too dependent on the opinions of others. But those who do, those who embrace solitude, who use it as a tool rather than a prison, emerge with a level of focus, strength, and clarity that few will ever experience. Reinvention is not a one-time event. It is a continuous process, a decision you make over and over again to shed the old version of yourself and step into something greater. Most people remain stuck in the same patterns, repeating the same mistakes, living the same life year after year because they are too afraid to let go of who they used to be. They hold on to identities that no longer serve them, relationships that keep them stagnant, habits that keep them weak. They resist change, not realizing that by clinging to the familiar, they are sacrificing their future potential. Growth requires destruction. You cannot build the next version of yourself while still holding on to the past. Reinvention demands that you break the mold, that you strip away everything that no longer aligns with the person you are becoming. It means looking at your habits, your routines, your mindset, and being brutally honest about what needs to change. It means cutting ties with the distractions, the excuses, the patterns that have kept you stuck for too long. This is where most people fail. They want a new life, but they do not want to let go of the old one. They want success, but they refuse to change the behaviors that have kept them from it. The greatest transformations happen in silence. When you decide to reinvent yourself, you do not need to announce it. You do not need permission, you do not need validation, you just need to start. The work happens behind closed doors, in the early mornings, in the late nights, in the moments when no one is watching. You disappear, not because you are running away, but because you are building something new. You become obsessed with the process, with learning, with growing, with refining yourself day after day. Reinvention is uncomfortable. It requires you to step into the unknown, to embrace uncertainty, to leave behind the safety of the familiar. It forces you to confront your fears, your insecurities, your deepest doubts. Most people avoid this discomfort, choosing instead to stay where they are, where it is safe, where it is predictable. But comfort is the enemy of growth. If you are not willing to endure the discomfort of transformation, you will never reach the next level. Your environment will resist your reinvention. The people around you will question your changes. They will remind you of who you used to be, of the mistakes you have made, of the limits they believe you have. They will not understand your obsession, your discipline, your need to evolve. They will try to pull you back, not because they are evil, but because your growth forces them to confront their own stagnation. If you let their words, their doubts, their opinions dictate your path, you will never break free. To reinvent yourself, you must redefine your standards. The person you were before had a certain level of discipline, a certain work ethic, a certain level of commitment. That version of you is gone. The new version demands more focus, more sacrifice, more effort. Reinvention is about raising the bar so high that the old version of you could never reach it. It is about committing to a level of excellence that makes mediocrity impossible. This is not about motivation. Motivation fades. Inspiration is temporary. Reinvention is about discipline. It is about making the decision every single day to show up as the new version of yourself. It is about acting as if you have already become that person, training your mind, your body, your habits to align with that vision. The transformation does not happen overnight. It is built through repetition, through consistency, through an unshakable commitment to the process. Most people never reinvent themselves because they are waiting for the perfect moment, waiting for permission, waiting for motivation. But reinvention does not wait. It happens the moment you decide, the moment you stop negotiating with your excuses, the moment you commit to the process without hesitation, without looking back. It is in that moment that everything changes.